At Liberty Village of Clinton, when you're not ready for a nursing home, their Bounce Back program is the answer. Click their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Simply the finest.
Healthy children make better students and stronger athletes. Be their advocate. Schedule their back-to-school physicals today at SIU Center for Family Medicine. Call 217-735-2317 now or click their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet Service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4-lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Warner Hospital and Health Services expanded emergency room means big hospital tech, small hospital caring. When you need ER care, make it Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton. Find out how their expanded ER can help you by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Ramey Miller from Run Deep Coaching. Take your power back. I do holistic personal and business coaching. My service is virtual, so we can visit no matter where you are. Find out more by clicking my icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. That's DeWittDailyNews.com.
News time, 8 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Monday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 8 o'clock newscast. Coming up in news in 8 o'clock, building improvements at DeLand-Weldon schools are wrapping up as a new school year approaches. There will be a new exhibit at the McLean County Museum of History coming next month, and fall hours begin today at the Scovill Zoo in Decatur. But first, we stream to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. It's been a busy summer at DeLand-Weldon High School because of improvements being made to the building. Dr. Michael Tresnick is the superintendent of DeLand-Weldon Schools and explains some of the changes that students and faculty will see when they return will be drop ceilings, lighting, and keyless locks.
So we had some construction projects. The major one was at the high school. We put in drop ceilings and all new lighting, LED lighting. Some of that's going to be, we're going to get some money back from our local utility company as part of those energy efficiency incentives. It really looks good. It's pretty much done. We're waiting on a couple minor things to come in, but we took the hallways, the commons area, all the classrooms, and put drop ceilings in, really cleaned everything up, did some painting in some areas, new lighting in the gym, new lighting in the weight room. A lot of the hallways around those areas got new lighting. We're working on new cameras throughout the whole building. They're still finishing those up right now. And then a new locking system where all our classrooms are going to be on a keyless lock system where we can monitor where everyone's at and also be able to lock down real easily. So
Sure.
A lot of moving targets this summer, but I think we're going to be there.
Dr. Tresnick says the building was constructed in the 50s and needed work to hide exposed wiring and steel girders. They were able to successfully clean that up and hide air ducts as well.
We had basic steel girders up in the top there, and then the ceiling tiles, and then you had a lot of wiring running around. That area or that building was built in the late 50s, early 60s, and at that time the electrical needs and the technology needs were completely different. I mean, there wasn't internet, there wasn't really computers. And since that time, we've had to run a lot of cabling, and it was all up above there. And so when you came into the building, you saw all these wires running around, and we were able to clean that up. So now it's hidden, and it's just a cleaner look. We had a lot of duct work also that kind of stood out. And using the drop ceilings and paint, we were able to kind of make those not be as noticeable.
Dr. Tresnick has been blown away by the changes and the new modern look of the building. He is excited to share it with the community through an open house next Monday.
I mean, I had certain expectations going in and certain hopes of what we were going to be able to get done and what it would look like. But, you know, until you see the job get done, you just don't know if you're going to get there. And what I see now, it's just far above what I thought we could get done. I mean, I thought that putting the drop ceilings would clean the things up, but when I really look at it, it makes our building look modern. It makes it look like it's a new building. I mean, to that point, we're excited. Here in a couple of weeks, we'll be having an open house on the Monday, the 12th, from 5 to 7. That's going to be our time where kids can come and drop off their book bags, drop off their supplies to their classrooms. But we open that up to the whole community. We'd like to have people come out and walk through the high school and see what we've done. We're proud of what we have there. The school board's made a commitment moving forward, commitment to that facility, commitment to that organization. That DeLand-Weldon's going to be there. It's going to be there for a long time. And we think people are going to be very impressed with what they see in that building.
Dr. Tresnick reminds the renovations cost between $300,000 and $400,000, but the school could afford those changes. And in the long run, the new LED lights will also save the school money on electricity. And again, that open house to take a look at the changes is next Monday from 5 to 7. This September, there will be a new exhibit at the McLean County Museum of History. Senior Director of Education Candace Summers explains the museum's asbestos exhibit details how it impacted workers and how prominent it was in workplaces and homes. She notes the exhibit has been in the works for some time.
This exhibit is a long time coming. We actually had this idea for the exhibit all the way back in 2011. And so one of our board members at that time, Mark Dunn, he actually brought this to the museum and said, hey, I think this is a story that we need to tell, that we need to tell the story of the workers and the lives that the company gave to the community too. And we didn't, think it would be like a huge blockbuster exhibit, but we're like, this is a story that we need to tell. And so we started digging into that story. Well, then in 2013, as we were getting ready, to kind of finalize things, the museum embarked on a capital campaign to redo our permanent exhibits. So it got put on the back burner. And then in 2019, we're like, okay, those exhibits are done. We can start this again. Well, then we started having roof issues at the museum. And then, of course, COVID happened. And so it's been a long time coming. So now, we're finally ready to debut this exhibit to tell that important story and to share the story of all those individuals and their experiences and what the company did.
What specifically inspired the exhibit was the Anarco plant on Bloomington's west side. It manufactured asbestos products and employed many people in McLean County. Anarco lied to their employees about the long-term effects of asbestos, leading many to be sick and even die.
And on Bloomington's west side was a plant called Unarco, and that plant made asbestos products. And it was a big employer for a very long time. It basically took over some of the footprint of the old Chicago and Alton railroad shops on Bloomington's west side, which a lot of listeners are probably familiar where the old roundhouse and everything was on the west side. And similar to the radium dial factory, up near Ottawa, it was a similar situation where the company lied to its employees about the dangers of asbestos.
Asbestos exposure can be deadly, and in a time when it was acceptable to lie to employees, many became ill and even passed away due to exposure in the workplace. Due to asbestos being in the air, Summers notes the exhibit tells this story and how they got them.
Many of the workers who were employed there died because of asbestos exposure or are still fighting claims to this day. And the Unarco factory has been closed for decades. Yeah, so we worked with Bloomington attorney James Walker, who spearheaded many of the lawsuits against asbestos companies and their suppliers across the country. And so he came on board as an advisor. And he shared depositions, which were from the witnesses and also the employees who were affected by the asbestos poisoning. He shared documents and court exhibits that he gathered over 30 years while representing local workers and their families who suffered and died from asbestos-related diseases. Now, it's not just the workers themselves. Even their families were sickened by this. There are stories of, wives who wash their husband's clothes dying from mesothelioma and asbestos exposure. And I remember one of our museum volunteers, she worked at Unarco. She didn't work in the actual plant, but every day she had to go from her office through the plant to get to the lunchroom. And even she had a claim from such minimal exposure as that.
The factories were said to have so much asbestos in the air it looked like it was snowing. Workers had little to no safety gear to protect them. On top of that, workers were lied to about the negative effects of asbestos.
Because when you were in the plant, from the depositions and from workers' reports, it was like it was snowing in there. The asbestos was just floating through the air. And there was no way you wouldn't have breathed any of that in. And the quote, safety gear they gave their workers was nothing. Or workers had to make their own masks out of whatever clothing they got. There was hardly any protection offered to them. And then, of course, again, much like the radium girls, they had company doctors who would examine the workers and then lie to them about the effects that were happening to them. They lied and they hid it for decades.
Wow.
And so this exhibit is going to tell the stories of the worker, what the company did, and educate the public about why tragedies like this should never have happened.
Summers believes this will be a very impactful exhibit and hopes to educate people on the poor conditions of these factories using displays of labels from products that had asbestos in them.
I think it'll be a very powerful exhibit. And again, so many people don't know like what all asbestos was in. Like a lot of older homes have asbestos siding on them. And again, if you leave that kind of stuff alone, it's not dangerous. But if you break it up, if it becomes damaged, then that's when it becomes dangerous. I was looking through a list of products that we display in the exhibit, not the actual products, but like their labels, because obviously no one is going to have an exhibit like this with the actual asbestos in it. Okay. But pictures of products. Cigarette filters used to have asbestos in the filters for certain brands. They used to put asbestos as a fire retardant on children's pajamas and toys. So, I mean, it's just mind-boggling how this product, even though it was revolutionary at keeping people safe as far as fire was concerned, how dangerous it was. I mean, just like lead paint being something that's in a lot of older homes, and how, you know, if people are exposed to it, especially young children, how bad it is for you. So I think it's going to be an exhibit that people really are going to want to see, and they're really going to learn a lot from. And this exhibit will be up for several years as well. So it's not like you have to come like as soon as it opens. It will be here. And we hope that a lot of people do come and learn from it.
The public opening of the exhibit will be on Saturday, September 7th at 1:30 and will feature the museum's guest curator. You can find out more about the museum on social media and at their website, mchistory.com. The Scovill Zoo will begin altering hours as we enter the fall season, and they begin that today. Executive Director Heather Perdue outlines the reason for this.
Starting on Monday, we will switch to our fall hours, which that just means the zoo is closed an hour earlier. So the gift shop will close at 4 o'clock. Zoo grounds will close an hour later at 5. And that will just be Monday through Friday. So weekends, the gift shop is still open till 5, and the zoo grounds will close at 6. So we still have that same hour during that. But yeah, we just, a lot of our staff, we do have a lot of college students who come, and some high school students, and we lose some of our help during that time. So yeah, we're somewhat ready to switch to those fall hours, just knowing that we're going to be losing a lot of our students.
Get more at ScovilleZoo.com. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is Noah Atkinson, owner of Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs